comment on a few particular matters of education infrastructure. And I know that the leader talking about the $20 million on the redevelopment of Penguin School. It's a new school compared to Montello Primary School. Montello Primary School has $6 million or $7 million, once you take out all the costs of even thinking about it. We're down to 6, probably 5, to actually do the work. And what Montello have been forced into is to suck it up and try and find a plan that will make their school accessible. Just accessible. Within the budget, which means they can do that. They can put it onto 2 levels with a lift, even though part of the area now, because a TA broke their leg on site recently. There's a whole area cordoned off there that's can't be used by anybody. But so much of that school is not accessible. They had to move, the principal had to move classes. Normally they have the little kids upstairs and the older kids down on the varying levels downstairs. But because of the mobility needs of a student who was going from grade 2 to grade 3, they had to rejig all that and bring grade 3 up and, talk about disruption, because it's not accessible. With the let's say $7 million, but it's not that much that you'll spend on the building. The money available will enable them to make the building relatively accessible. It will not enable them to put in a decent play area for young people to de-escalate with proper play equipment and an outdoor space. This is an area of some of the highest levels of our social disadvantage in my electorate. These families are not good or not able to advocate for themselves strongly. They're too busy surviving. So they can't get out there and make a noise. They haven't got a whole parent body that can stamp on the street and on the door of the minister, a minister who lives in this electorate. They can't put in shade over their outdoor learning areas. They can't even demolish the horrid old toilet block.
That's Third World, that is.
The Third World one. I've already spoken about the Bullies Haven and where they had to block it off because there were people hanging around outside it because there was absolutely no visibility of that space from anywhere in the school. They can't even afford to demolish it. They've just got to leave this monolith there because they don't have money to demolish it if they want to make the school accessible. They can't do so many of the basic things to make this school a nice and attractive and welcoming learning space for these families. Mr. President, we need another $6 million here. I went through the budget papers and looked at all the other amounts other schools are getting. They're redevelopments on a flat site. This is as steep as you can get. Hence the inaccessibility of half the school. I call on the government to put more money into this so they can actually do the job properly. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace that the families of Montello Primary School cannot get a decent outcome after all these years of waiting. It's appalling. That's the worst of them in my electorate. Wynyard High School hasn't had work done in the classrooms for years and years. There's a really easy solution. It's a flat site. Plenty of room over on the old tennis courts are no longer used in the car park to actually build new, decent classrooms for this school out on that area and then move the car park into the old tennis courts. Heaps of land around the back. We've got a new toilet block. Excellent. But these children need learning spaces. I was in there doing a session with a class a little while back and it was so hot and stuffy. You've got adolescents with, going through the personal changes that adolescents do and hot, stuffy, no air. I thought we were being COVID aware these days. Let's build Wynyard High School some decent learning areas. Helier College the same. Now Helier College has had a bit of money spent on it from time to time. But if anyone wants to go visit particularly down in the cave that is the Arts and Drama Department, you'll see our magnificent green carpet that is still there since when I was there, taped up with duct tape all along the corridor. Okay? It's not a bad place for a little music and art park 'cause it's all dark and underground and stuff, but that needs work as well as a lot of the old areas. The cafeteria, except for a new little breakfast bar area where you can cook your own breakfast, is exactly the same as when I was there.
I think the honourable member's telling my story as well, Mr President, when it comes to
schools, yeah. I mean, there are others, but they're the ones at the sort of the top of the list for me. But Molintello is the absolute top of the list, and not because it's not having anything done, it's because we just don't have enough money to do it properly.